Alabama, let's get it.
The process, no one can stop this. Hottest show in the streets, I bet you can't top this. Rammer, jammer, yellow hammer, come see how we rock this. Alabama fans the best, there's no way you can top this. Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
The process.
Hey everyone, welcome into Thursday's episode of The Process. I am your host, Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine. Thank you guys so much for joining me today on Touchdown Alabama's YouTube page. As always, if you're not subscribed to Touchdown Alabama on YouTube, do that right now. Please hit that subscribe button below. Also be sure to leave a like whether you are subscribed or not. I will be here on Touchdown Alabama's YouTube page every Tuesday and Thursday evening to break down the latest in Crimson Tide football recruiting news. On today's episode of The Process, to close out this week of shows, I do want to discuss an upcoming commitment for one of the Tide's top 2022 defensive back targets in Antonio Kite, who is set to announce his commitment on Sunday, and I will focus this episode mostly on that. But before I dive into his upcoming decision, I do want to take a look at the new NIL rule that was put in place on today, that college athletes can now benefit and profit off of their name, image, and likeness. I want to take a quick look at how that could and will impact Alabama football and college football in general. Of course, Alabama's players now get an opportunity to basically use their name, image, and likeness to sign deals with individual brands, and those brands can pay these athletes to promote their brand, promote whatever product they sell. And we have seen a couple of top players announce that they have signed a deal with a particular brand. One of those brands being Yoki Gaming. A lot of Tide players have announced that they have signed a deal with Yoki, promoting that site. And when you just look at the future of the NIL situation, it is something that could help Alabama become even more dominant from a recruiting perspective, because the Alabama football brand has always been a good brand, especially as of late with Nick Saban joining the program, with them building that dynasty in Tuscaloosa. The brand is as strong as ever, and they do really well from a financial standpoint. And I think this could translate and should translate over to college athletes signing deals within the state of Alabama specifically, and most likely from a national perspective, some of the more high-profile programs at some of these top college football programs in the country will benefit from some of the top companies reaching out to them. And I think this is something that is going to be very enticing for prospects who are considering the University of Alabama and programs like Clemson and Ohio State. I think in the future you are going to see guys like Bryce Young and some of the high-profile prospects at these other schools stand out and sign these big deals. And if you're a high school recruit and you see that things are moving in that direction, you're going to want to go to a school that's going to put you in the best position to succeed. And I think this is going to help some of the powers of college football out a lot. I'm excited for every athlete that gets an opportunity to make money off of their name, image, and likeness. And I think this gives some of the top programs in the nation another opportunity to remain and continue to be dominant from a recruiting perspective. So I wanted to give some input on that, with Thursday today being the first day that college athletes can profit off of their name, image, and likeness. But as I said at the top of the show, the main focus of the show today is to discuss Antonio Kite, the four-star athlete out of Anniston High School in Anniston, Alabama, who is set to announce his commitment on Sunday. He is a prospect who visited Alabama earlier in the summer on an unofficial visit. It was his first visit to the University of Alabama as a football recruit. He had camped on the University of Alabama's campus as a basketball recruit in the past. He does hold a basketball offer from the Crimson Tide, which is something I have said on The Process a lot of different times. That Alabama basketball offer actually came before his offer from Alabama football. When we look at his offer from the Crimson Tide, that offer came after he played only one season of high school football for Anniston High School, but he was so productive, showed a lot of promise during that junior season that his recruitment took off from there. Alabama offered him, like I said, got him on campus on June 2nd. He also got an opportunity to visit a couple of different campuses throughout the month of June. Took a visit to South Carolina, took a visit to UCF, and also rounded out his visits with a visit to Tennessee. So he has had an opportunity to visit those programs, and it looks as if he's going to choose between Alabama, South Carolina, UCF, and also Tennessee. And I feel Alabama is in a great position. I've talked about Antonio Kite a lot over the last month or so because I feel Alabama's coaching style really likes what he brings to the table from a potential perspective. And I said this a couple of times as well. He is a raw prospect. He does need to grow in a lot of areas. I think he is going to make a jump from what we saw on his junior film to what we are going to see during his senior season at Anniston High School. I think we are going to see a more put together prospect this upcoming season for the Anniston Bulldogs. And I think that is something that any school should be excited to see if your school is in the running to land Antonio Kite. He got an opportunity to view Alabama's campus, got an opportunity to view some of the facilities on a tour during that visit to campus, got an opportunity to speak with Coach Saban in person. Saban has shown a lot of interest in him. Alabama's basketball coach, Nate Oates, has also shown a lot of interest in him in the past. Alabama's football staff and their basketball staff worked together to pull in a couple of different prospects in the 2021 recruiting class with Terrion Arnold and JaQuincy McKinstry, both having the opportunity to play football and basketball at the next level at the University of Alabama this upcoming season. So it is not strange to think that they are going to and they have worked together to possibly pull in Antonio Kite on Sunday. And like I said so many different times, I'm going to continue to say it. I feel Alabama is in a great position to possibly land Antonio Kite. When you take a look at his film, he shows some great anticipation during his junior season for Anniston High School. A prospect who played on both sides of the football, was able to get it done with some elite ball skills as a wide receiver. And when you see all of this and you see that he is a bit raw and you see some of the things that he naturally does, you can tell that his upside is really high. He has a lot of potential. If you can get a coach to fine-tune some of the things that he is doing, he can be a great prospect at the next level. So I think Tide fans should pay close attention to his upcoming announcement. I think Alabama is definitely the favorite heading into his decision. We will see what decision he will make on this Sunday. The Crimson Tide currently do not have a verbal commitment from a defensive back at the moment. They are in a good position with a couple. They were targeting a four-star defensive back out of Texas in Terrence Brooks. He took an official visit to the University of Alabama over the weekend, but he committed to Ohio State this week on yesterday, actually. And with him off the board, the Crimson Tide have a couple of different defensive back targets still in the mix, including Antonio Kite. Some of the other prospects to know are Earl Little Jr., also taking a look at Traquan Fegans, just some of the prospects we have talked about in the process a couple of times. Jake Pope is another guy to pay attention to, along with Devin Moore, the three-star defensive back out of Florida. But I think Tide fans should stay locked in to touchdownalabama.com to see if Antonio Kite does actually commit to the Crimson Tide or takes his talent possibly outside of the state to South Carolina, UCF, or possibly Tennessee. That will do it for this episode of The Process. Thank you guys so much for watching today's show. Be sure to hit that subscribe button below. Also be sure to leave a like whether you are subscribed or not. Then head over to touchdownalabama.com. Pick up your subscription today. With that subscription, you will be able to read all of our subscriber-only articles, get your hands on our yearly print magazine issue. Then head to the Google Play Store if you have an Android device, or to the Apple App Store if you have that Apple device. Download the Touchdown Alabama app so breaking news notifications can be sent to your mobile device. As always, I am Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine.
Process.